Yeah, it's the archivist, y'all. Exclusively interviewing Mr. KRS-One
All day and all night.
in Canada. And who is KRS-One and what does it mean and where does it originate from?
Wow, 3 questions in one. KRS-One is an acronym for Knowledge Reigns Supreme Over Nearly Everyone. Or today I say Knowledge Reigning Supreme Over Nearly Everyone. That's the acronym. The name comes from a Hindu god named Krishna, who was speaking to Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita. And I used to study with the Hare Krishnas when I was homeless in New York, or houseless in New York. And when I was studying with them, I was teased. The security guards would come back and start teasing me, saying, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna. And after a while of this teasing, this name caught on. Krishna. So I got found out that I was under 21 at this men's shelter I was in, and they threw me out the shelter. And when they transferred my records from the Human Resources Administration of New York City to the Bureau of Child Welfare, I went from being Lawrence Parker to being Krishna Parker when I got to the Bureau of Child Welfare. So I kept the name, Krishna Parker. It became legal as more and more paperwork started to do its thing, filling out stuff and this kind of thing. So Krishna obviously becomes Chris. After a while, Chris. But my Chris is not spelled Chris or even Kris. My Chris is KRS. That's it, short for Krishna. I get to the group home, a group home in the Bronx around 1984, and there's a guy named Zor, a Puerto Rican brother, who teaches me how to write my name in graffiti. KRS1. We run down to the 4 and the 5 lines, train yards, and I start putting my name up everywhere. Went to the bus yard, start putting my name up there as well. Suddenly I became known as a graffiti writer. KRS, the graffiti writer. I wrote with this other guy named Ace, A-S-E, and Zor, and Rican, and Mace, and this whole crew used to call themselves Down to Bomb, DTB. Used to run around with them for a hot minute. Then, as a graffiti writer, other writers started writing KR, KS, KRESS, and I felt like, well, let me throw that 1 on the end so the cats know this is the original KRS-One. 1 on the end of your name is common in graffiti. Any number, 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s and 5s, even 6s and 7s, are common in graffiti. So for me, it was no big deal. KRS, and I threw the 1 on the end. There were many artists out at the time with 1s and 2s and everything, at the end of their name, and street numbers and names after their name as well. So this became the evolution of KRS-One. Later on in life, when I'm 33 years old, I get confronted by two Freemasons in San Francisco, and they tell me that my name, KRS, is the ancient spelling for Christ, which was KRST, and how the KRS was put on the sarcophagus of the pharaoh, because the KRS is the clothes, it's the light body that the pharaoh wears to go into another dimension, or into the blessed dimension. And you can find this information out. There's actually a tribe called the Anunnaki that people talk about all the time, having found a gateway into other dimensions by the use of certain medicinal plants as well as certain times of the day. They went together, and portholes would open up in space. But you had to have your KRS body on to enter this space. I took in that information, and of course I just give you this so that people can further research it. But this is where the name KRS-One comes from.
and the start of the Celebrity 3, from the single Stop the Violence back in 1984 to the Boogie Down Crew and self-destruction video Stop the Violence Movement, Heal compilation, the impact it made.
Yeah. Well, this is my life purpose. Some people may look at it as achievements, and I guess they are in hip hop. But for me, it's normal. It's just everyday life. I look back on these things and I say, wow, that was pretty hot. But while I'm doing them, I don't feel anything but the preservation of hip hop. That's it. I don't feel, and I look back when I say, wow, I could have did more. Maybe if I had a little bit of an ego, or in that direction, or really understood the commercial magnitude of what I was doing, that I would have took advantage of it. But I really didn't. Not only did I not know, I didn't care to know. I just wanted the culture to be preserved. That's the reason I came into hip hop. I have no other purpose to be here. Every reason, I don't even know what else to say. I mean, that's it. So all of the accolades that you mention are just the effects of living a hip hop preservation life. And then these things come. These things come. You run into stuff. You do stuff. This kind of thing. So again, these things, these accolades, these events, these historical markers in hip hop's history, they are the. What you mentioned is the blood and essence of hip hop itself, its own self-preservation. But let me get a little more controversial with you, and point out a little bit of history on that. Everything I'm about to say, I'm going to say in family mode. I'm going to give myself the family mode, cultural mode. I speak as a historian now, not as an artist. Historian. So I took a meeting in 1987, and this is the origin of all of these movements. Took a meeting in 1987 with Africa Bambaataa, the first teacher of hip hop. Took a meeting with Africa Bambaataa, and Africa Bambaataa was talking about the need for rappers to unionize. He wasn't talking about hip hop as a culture. He wasn't talking about the unity of the culture. He was just talking about rappers in particular need to form a union. 1987 Latin Quarters. And there was a lot of people in the room at the time. And we all heard him. We all heard Bam speak. But I think I kind of took it to heart. And I'm not going to say this to say no one else did. Of course everyone did. But in history, I went ahead and said, you know what? The king just spoke. Or should I say, the teacher just spoke. Let's, how do we actually unionize? I started thinking about that. And I never got my answer for the union. Hip-hop, rap was never unionized. But what happened was, a woman named Ann Carly, Asian woman, used to call herself Tokyo Rose. She was a DJ on the old WNWK, formerly WHBI, actually the first hip-hop radio, the first station to ever play hip-hop anywhere, WHBI. They changed to WNWK, and this Asian woman named Tokyo Rose, Ann Carly, was a DJ there. Now, I just want this to go out to all my Asian people out there. Shout out to the whole crew. But Asian chick, DJing, 1986. Okay, breeze over that. Now, she runs up on me, and she says, I'm thinking about a movement. I'm thinking about, because I'm breezing over. I did a song called Stop the Violence on By All Means Necessary. By All Means Necessary. The record was huge in the hood, just as a song. And that says, 1, 2, 3, the crew is called BDP. Stop the Violence in here a while. Most Def actually did it over. But the record was huge in the hood when it first came out. A guy got stabbed for his gold chain at a concert, at a rap concert that we all was playing. I was playing, everybody was playing there. Ann Carly said, enough is enough. This is not how hip hop is supposed to conduct itself. Now keep in mind, Ann Carly is the head of A&R also for Jive Records, okay? She's a DJ, female DJ. See, you're not hearing me. She's a female DJ in 1986. She's Asian. You don't get that history in hip-hop, do you? She's at a rap concert where dudes is getting stabbed for their goal. First of all, where are you? What makes you think you could be in a spot like this? You female, you in this spot. Dude gets stabbed right next to you. You like, and you're not scared. You're not like, oh God, he's got stabbed. No, you're like, this is bullshit. Okay, we need to get up and do something. This is an Asian chick, Ann Carly. She says to me, Chris, your record Stop the Violence. We need to make that a movement. I said, what you want to do? She said, look, let me call this dude Nelson George. Actually, I think she already had Nelson down with a writer for Billboard magazine at the time. Today, a television producer, produces VH1 Hip Hop Honors. But him, her, and me got together and formed this thing called the Stop the Violence movement. D Nice produced the record. Dougie Fresh created the chorus. LL Cool J, although he was told by Russell Simmons not to show up to the Stop the Violence studio session, he did show up and co-wrote MC Light's part, which was fascinating. LL gets big respect for that to this day. Big up to Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. They wanted to be on the record, but Ann Carly said that they shouldn't be on the record because of their image, which was interesting. In addition to that, so I say all of this to say, and I'm just going through the times itself. So this record comes out, Self-Destruction. We named it Self-Destruction. You see that everybody's on the record. Record comes out, huge, huge record. Before the video, we leaked the record. The record's huge. Just play it on the radio. Just playing the record. Huge record. Black radio don't want to play it. Only Red Alert, Marley Marl, Mr. Magic, these people are playing the record. BET don't want to play the record. They say it's too long. MTV's playing the record. Dude named Ted Demi, rest in peace. Yo MTV Raps creator with Fab Five Freddy. They playing, that's how Self-Destruction, that's how the record got heard to America. It was MTV that played it. BET eventually caught on, but they always complained that the song was too long. And I always complained that how can a song that's saving our children be too long? You mean to tell me a message like this I should shorten? I mean, tell me that about any of my songs. Tell me that about Criminal Minded, Step Into a World. Tell me, any of my songs, I will shorten them quickly. Self-Destruction? The whole hip-hop community is speaking out against violence, trying to raise awareness. And the argument you come with is the song's too long, we need you to shorten it or we're not going to play it. While MTV plays the song in its entirety. And then Ed Lover and Dr. Dre come on after the song and talk more on it. A little bit of history there. So the West Coast blows up. A guy named Mike Concepcion calls me up. Chris, this is bullshit. The West Coast should have been in on the record. I was like, damn, you right. I did the record too fast. I only called my friends that I could immediately get to. What about Eazy-E, NWA, and everybody at the time, Hammer, Above the Law, everybody. Okay? So I said, wow, you're right. So I said, go ahead and do that. You got the respect. Gave him the respect. Mike Concepcion, Ebon, rest of the E-Band, these guys got together, did all in the same gang. Made all the gangs in LA put their rags down. The original Crips, the original Bloods, the original Essays put they rags down. And then we did a song called All in the Same Gang, commemorating gang violence is over in California. Actually in the United States, but California is where it was bubbling. Government agencies reinstated the Crips, the Bloods, and the Essays. All young kids should know that. A man named Stan Tukey Williams, who was killed by Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, had wrote before he was up for a Nobel Peace Prize in jail. He's the head of the Crips. I think it was. Stan Tukey Williams. I think it was Crips. And whatever the gang affiliation, he denounced the gang and wrote a letter saying to all gang members, I am the founder of this. I'm telling you, it's leading you to nowhere. Let's dead this and become businessmen and women. Many people heard him, but Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger didn't hear him and killed him anyway. That, coupled with the fact that government agencies needed gangs in the LA area, just needed them. Now we have a gang scene again. Because, and remember, it's two ways. Government agencies instigate gang activity, but then you kill the guy says, yo, I'm repentant. I will speak out against this. I will work my entire life to redo my situation. I killed people, I sold drugs, I did. But now, for 50 more years of my life, I'm going to get every single gang member off the block right now. I'm going to do the opposite of what I did. If that's not rehabilitation, what else is it? And what else is prison useful for if it is not rehabilitation? When he was killed, more dudes joined gangs. Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger raised the gang population up at least by half. At least by half. If there was 100 gang members, there's 200 now. If there was 200, there's 400 now. 400, 800. Because most people on the street saw that it don't matter if you're repentant. It don't matter. It's better you join a gang and shoot at the police. You may win. You may actually win than to actually give up yourself or give up your gun or turn yourself in, and then you go to jail and they're going to kill you anyway. That's the streets. All in the same gang. I can stop there. I'll put a period here. Human Education Against Lies was the next movement to come out after that, because we saw that hip-hop, really all people, but for our community, we were becoming more technological than human. And so we put out an album called Civilization versus Technology, Heal, Human Education Against Lies, Heal Yourself, was the single. Again, a star-studded single, Queen Latifah and everybody. Interesting enough, on that song as well, we had LL Cool J came and did his rhyme because Self-Destruction had blown up so big. Run D.M.C. and LL Cool J said, we are not missing this time. And I remember Jam Master Jay coming to me and being angry, like seriously angry, not no homeboy shit. It was on some homeboy shit, but he was like, yo, Chris, you can't do that again without putting Run DMC. Like, yo, like this is, like he was coming at me like that, like this is history, this is important, Run DMC needs to say this, and he was coming like that. And I was like, yo, you already know, I will kill to have Run DMC perform on this record. You don't even have to say nothing. This is what it will be, Jay. You already know. The day we in the studio to do the record, again, for some reason, Russell tells all of Def Jam, don't support it. I don't know what that was, but he tells them again, don't support it. So LL Cool J comes down anyway, again, and rocks on the record, again. You know, and Jay and DMC, Jam Master Jay and DMC came down to the studio and voiced theirs. Run didn't come. And, you know, they voiced their record. So you had Jam Master Jay and DMC on the record, and you had LL on the record as well. Now, it was others, Queen Latifah, Salt and Pepper. Well, no, Salt and Pepper was on another song. Actually, another whole nother record we did was crazy. But, you know, this name calling, but this was a huge song. Everyone on the album, on this record, was A-list rapper of the day. The directors were A-list directors of the day, one of which was Jonathan Demme, Oscar award-winning director, legend in the game. He's directing the video, okay? And those who don't know, films like Manchurian Candidate, Philadelphia, the classic Silence of the Lambs, the guy who directed these movies is directing this video. Russell calls up, don't show up to the video. He threatens everybody. If you show up to the video, I'm throwing you off Def Jam. Like, imagine that. So, LL doesn't show up. We're spending $100,000 in a day for this video. 100 G's for the day. We really need everybody there. We really do, LL's jerks just doesn't show up. Almost ruined the entire video. He didn't show up because of Russell. And I know why he didn't show up. His pressure was too much, and I respect him for that. LL don't get no disrespect for that. I know the pressure he was under, but why was he under pressure? Jay and d.m.c. basically put the middle finger up and came to the video against Russell's wishes. Run, of course, didn't even show up to the video. d.m.c. and Jam Master Jay did their part in the video. They rocked it. LL didn't show up. The only one that didn't show up. The only one. So Fab Five Freddy said, what we'll do is we'll put a boombox up, because that's what LL was known for, my radio. I mean, this is the genius of Freddie. Genius. We're trying to salvage the video right there. We're embarrassed. Jonathan Demme shooting the video right there. All your guys ain't here? Mr. Demme. Fab Five Freddy goes, let's get the radio out and a couple of dudes around the radio, and we'll just play LL's part on the radio, and everybody will listen to him on the radio. That's what's in the video. So everybody's there except LL, who we hear on a radio. And this is just a brief history of these movements, the behind the scenes of it. No disrespect to Russell, of course. Russell gets high respect in hip hop, and I hold no grudge either on that. But what I tell you is the truth. That's all. Nothing less. Don't think less of Russell. Don't think more of him. Just the truth.
And coming from Boogie Down Productions and the first duo album, Criminal Minded, tell us about your growing experiences leading up to 1992 Sex and Violence, and what kind of person did you develop into these years?
Well, this was right around the time I put out Stop the Violence, Human Education Against Lies, all in the same gang. I'm running from city to city. I'm doing lectures too now. I'm one of the first rappers to enter. I'm probably the first, actually. I need to get my dates right. But it's somewhere between me and Chuck D. Were the first to and it may have been rappers. I mean, Melly Mel could have easily spoken at university. Grandmaster Flash could have been speaking at Africa Bambaataa could have been speaking at universities, and I suggest every scholar of hip hop to check that first. But as far as teaching hip hop, KRS-One is the first in the university circuit to develop a hip hop curriculum. To say hip-hop is 9 elements, not just 4. That we're going to look at Hurt, Bam, and Flash as the founders. That the principles is peace, love, unity, and safely having fun, laid down by Africa Bambaataa. That the core 4, breaking, MC, and graffiti, are DJing. This is what I came into hip-hop for. So naturally, in 1989, after the Stop the Violence movement, I took this into the university circuit. My first university lecture was Yale University. First university I ever did in my life was Yale University. And it was a lecture not on hip hop. It was called The Emancipation Procrastination. And I was talking about how the United States document, the Emancipation Proclamation, never really freed the slaves. And then we went into the United States Constitution and pulled out the 13th Amendment and proved that slavery was never abolished. In fact, all Americans are slaves. Told that to Yale. And they bugged out. That word, that controversy got over to Dr. Cornel West, who then brought me to Princeton. And that's when all hell broke loose. Big up to Dr. Cornel West. I'm indebted to this day. He started my lecture career. He brought me to Princeton, introduced me to the lecture circuit on a grassroots level. And because he was Dr. Cornel West, bringing KRS in, you damn near gave me an honorary degree. And so I have status in the university system. I'm not just a rapper now. I'm an associate professor in these universities. Big up to Dr. Cornel West. So now to answer your question, in the midst of all that, I'm talking about consciousness. I'm talking about God. I'm talking about consciousness. I'm talking about God. Listen to my music, at the time. Listen back then. I'm talking about blackness, not African Americanness. Blackness. I'm talking about that. I'm talking about metaphysics. I'm talking about beyond color and power of mind. All of that's in my my presentation, so to speak. So groups like X-Clan, pro-black Pan-Africanist groups start taking shots at me, legitimately as well. Hip-hop is about battling. It's about open debate, or at least my part of hip-hop is about open debate. I'll put it that way. So here comes Brother Jay, at the time, being put up to this by the elders, Sonny Carson and others, who really had a problem with this new humanist approach. This new consciousness, kumbaya, let's all be brothers. Black, white, everybody, we're all equal. And I said, black, white, or Indian, we're all equal. They hated that line. No, the black man is superior. The white man is God. The white man is the devil. The black man is God. So I immediately started putting out music that refuted that, because not only was it childish, I mean, I know where the whole concept comes from, no doubt. But if you go to the album Sex and Violence, on there's a song called Build and Destroy, where I start firing back at all these critics, talking about I'm not black enough because I want to discuss consciousness. And I start pointing out generals like Colin Powell being black, invading Iraq. He's God. Start pointing out Clarence Thomas on the Supreme Court. Oh, he represents black issues. They couldn't answer that. Started getting into beefs with the 5%ers. Started getting into beefs with Muslims. Started getting into beefs with Christians. With the evangelical Christians. When I put out Why Is That? Imagine, I said Moses is black, Abraham black, or I should say African. Okay, whatever the skin color was, these dudes was in Africa. Okay? Black people said, Chris, you bugging. Black people said, you bugging for saying Jesus is black. Guess who came up and gave me more knowledge? Jews. Big up to the Jewish scholars of 1980, 89. Because I had a whole bunch of black folk going, Jesus, and they couldn't say Jesus was white. They can't say that, but they can't say he was black. They say, oh, it don't matter what his color is. So then why is he white then? If it don't matter. They couldn't answer it. Basically, they were offended at the scholarship. White Jewish scholars turned me on to the Torah. I didn't have the Torah at that point. I was just writing from what I knew. They hit me to the Torah. They said, read the Torah. in terms of the Old Testament, try to understand this, and you will understand Semitic people. I said, thank you, Rabbi, and ran into my corner and went on a 10-year study of the Torah. When I was done with the Torah, I realized what Judaism really, really, really is. It's hip-hop of another day. It's the hip-hop of another tribe. It's how they did it, of another tribe. And so this is where these movements, they come in, and I'm going to change this and just say this, and not change it, but go forward, okay? All these groups are coming at me. X-Clan, Poor Righteous Teachers. Well, I kind of came after Poor Righteous Teachers with a ridiculous statement. I said, that, forget it. My apologies. I'll put it that way. They had all the right to be upset with KRS-One. I was just mouthing off and said something stupid about them being soft. And they was like, soft? We ain't soft. And, and it became something else. But I was clearly wrong in that instance, in that sense with Poor Righteous Teachers. X-Clan, I was just being debated in that sense, and it was an MC battle. On top of that, Africa Bambaataa came in and squashed it between the both of us. To this day, Brother Jay is my man. He would be the side man for me. I'd be the side man for him. I am X-Clan today, no doubt. I am the other member of the group, and Brother Jay is the other member of BDP, straight up and down. But after all these groups started coming after me, even the lynch mob. My good friend Ice Cube was like, he said, some rappers are heaven sent, but self-destruction don't pay the fucking rent. Straight up. I was like, wow, that was crazy. But it was dope. Because as a line to be said in the club, I know that that must have got the crowd like, oh, like that. Like basically all this talking about peace, you ain't getting no money. And that's real though. Revolutionary wise, Malcolm X used to ask all the time, who buys the gun? I'm saying we all talk revolution, but in the end, who's gonna actually put money down and buy the gun? But that's the way I took it from Ice Cube anyway on that level. And of course, I am NWA. No doubt. I'll take Eazy-E's place. No doubt. Oh, I am that dude. I will pass the mic to Ren. And Yella will DJ for KRS. I fuck around. I'll do that shit tonight. Okay, I am NWA. In that sense. But nonetheless, and Ice Cube, of course, is a legend in the culture. Legend in the culture. Straight legend. Nothing can be taken from Ice Cube. But these were our early days as kids, growing up. So immature as we all were. I said, well, wait a minute. What makes people think there's something soft around here? You think peace, love, knowledge is soft? And this is why I started writing. Do away, of course, that love and peace and knowledge is soft. Do away with that and understand one fact. For love, peace must attack. And attack real strong, stronger than war, to conquer it and its law. That was my philosophy, not the song. That's how I was living in 1989. So when dudes was rolling, rap, KRS ain't shit. PM Dawn, he wants to be a teacher, but a teacher of what? Self-destruction don't pay the fucking rent. And then all this other little rumbling. We gonna kick your ass. You ain't shit. You gonna get. So I'm like, wait a minute, word? Y'all really think it's sweet around here? I love this shit. I'm a Leo. The lion. Let me start biting you, mom. Me? When I was young, you already know my younger day, man, I went on a rampage, okay? Like, no. We're cleaning hip-hop up, starting with you, PM Dawn, you. You are the commercial act coming in, talking about Chuck D ain't shit, NWA ain't shit, neither is KRS-One. Nope. Where I come from, you diss Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, and Stokely Carmichael, you get a gunshot for that blood clot. You don't see it, Dread. That's it. So you come up here talking, oh, Chuck D ain't shit, or NWA, and you a new dude talking, body, bobby, bobby, whatever that is, whatever. I can't remember the song. No, not that. That was something else. That's something. I can't remember the song, but at the end of the day, you coming with soft shit.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay, here we go now. So you come in with that, and you want to diss the icons. So KRS-One put the Warrior on, and was like, you know what? Let's go see this dude. And as a matter of fact, after him, I'm gonna see every person else that had my name in their mouth. He gonna be the first one. So when I got to the club, everybody knew. Everybody who knew me knew what was up. I came there, it was T-Money's birthday party. And it was all industry was there. And keep in mind, I'm completely coherent, completely at peace, completely in love. Jumped on stage, took the mic out his hand. Said, let's battle right now, what's up? Supposed to be a lyrical battle. His boys from Brooklyn, what? Didn't realize I had the whole club with me. Bronx was thick in that building. Them dudes act a little stupid, push them to the side, and nobody. In the midst of the mayhem that ensued afterwards, 2 girls got slapped in their face. 2 of PM Dawn's dancers got slapped up. PM Dawn got thrown off the stage. And that was symbolic also. Symbolic. We wanted that particular message out. Now, I didn't know he would fly from the stage. I had no idea of that. But the idea of hip-hop's culture defending itself against corporate interests, KRS is at the forefront of that. I'm busting my gun, straight up. That's it. You come with ignorance, knowledge will deal with you. You come with hate, love will deal with you. You come with war, peace will deal with you. So I went on my rampage. My dudes from the Bronx ain't playing. We pulled the SWAT arsenal intact, guns, knives, you name it, hand-to-hand combat, mental, however you want to do it. We ready. So I went on my little rampage. 1992, I started smacking up mad people. Even people that you don't even hear about anymore because it was just too quick. But it was a matter of knowledge is going to run hip-hop, not ignorance. And that's where it went. Now, after that, after a few dudes got smacked up, slapped up, thrown off stage, pockets ripped, cars robbed, dudes thrown in trunks. KRS, you're contradicting yourself. You're the head of the Stop the Violence movement. How can you have stopped the violence and then throw PM Dawn off the stage? I said, didn't you hear my song? KRS-One is just the guy to lead a crew. Right up to your face and diss you. Y'all still used to hearing rappers dance on stage talking about what they gonna do and they never do it. Whatever I say in record, I'm down to do. Straight up. Whatever I say on a record, I'm down to do. The journalists couldn't deal with that. They wanted a fake dude to say some poetry on record, but then when you in the real street, your hands ain't up. Nah, my hands is up constantly. I live in the street. So now, I'm contradictory. I lost half my fan base. When PM Dawn went off the stage, KRS-One's career was over. 1992, my career was finished. 1992, that was it. I put out a record called Sex and Violence and it flopped. Actually, it sold 250,000 albums. To me, that's a lot of people. But to the record company, if you wasn't gold, 500,000 million records sold, it was a flop. Imagine that. So, Sex and Violence coming off of Edutainment. Edutainment was platinum. Okay? Coming off of that, 1 million records, 700,000 records sold on Edutainment when Sex and Violence comes out and I only sell 250,000 of Sex and Violence. So the record company is now like, well, Chris, it was a good ride. It's nice knowing you. I mean, this was literally like, Ann Carly was like, well, I don't know what we gonna do. Your records ain't selling, period. It's 92. Sex and Violence is not doing what we are investing into you. What we are investing, we're not getting it out of these records. So I was like, well, seems like you need to stop investing in me then. And that's exactly what they did. Stop investing in conscious rap. Ann Carly eventually quit over this issue. She quit over this. But the record company Jive Records and Barry Weiss, the dopest record company president of all time, a book should be written about this guy. He was a genius. 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 This is the guy who put out Too Short and KRS-One. How do you do that? Like, just two entirely. And I love Short Dog, no doubt. I'm with Short Dog. I'm quite sure he listens to KRS. But as a record company executive, on one label, look at how you build in your label. You got this conscious, revolutionary, by all means necessary dude on the same label with these bitches and these hoes. And you know what was so dope about Jive? That's what hip hop is. That's what hip hop actually is. Revolutionaries with bitches and hoes. And then a side comedian on the side, like somebody over here cracking jokes. Like, that's like the mechanics of our culture. But let me just put a period on this and say that. So I start running around beating people up, calling myself defending hip hop, and half my audience felt that I was contradictory and hypocritical, and basically stopped buying my music. And wrote me off and said, forget it, KRS is a waste of time. And in a lot of ways, I agreed. I remember doing a press conference with them. I said, you know what? I did a press conference, somebody brought this up. After Sex and Violence came out, and it was clear that it only sold 200,000, eventually 250. It was like, well, you're not doing so well. Do you think that have something to do with PM Dawn and that and so on? And I was like, yeah, it does. But what a sacrifice. I will sacrifice my entire career for hip hop, because I don't have no other reason to be here other than hip hop itself. I'm not here to sell a record. I'm not a music merchant. Like, I don't sell records. It's never been my thing. If I sell a record, dope, good. It's great. But that's not why I'm here. It's just not why I'm here. So when I was labeled contradictory, my career was over. My sales and recording career was over. And I embraced it because I just said, I don't want to play the commercial game no more anyway. If I have to smile and joke with artists that I think are garbage, I don't want to be here no more. I don't want to do this no more, So my career took a turn. And I stopped being a pop star. In that sense. So, before 92, I was doing Arsenio Hall every week. Yeah. I was all over MTV, all over BET, Rap City. I'm the first dude there. Yo, MTV Raps, I'm like the third back there. All of this, all the beginnings, Source Magazine, all of that. We there from the beginning. I'm saying, no, throw it all away. I realized enlightenment, or should I say endarkenment. I don't need the record industry. I need hip hop. And I realized that in 92 with Sex and Violence, the shock of not selling a record. I was riding high from Criminal Minded, good 5-year riding high. Then it drops. And you fall. Oh, I'm falling. And then a voice comes and says, no, you're not. You're not falling. You're floating. Floating? Yes, floating. You have wings now. Use them. I start flapping my wings. I was like, hold up. I'm flying. What was the flying? The flying was now I'm the culture itself. 1993 comes around. My wife starts a company called Front Page Entertainment. She says, we're taking over. We don't need record labels. We don't need CAA, ICM, famous booking agency. I was with all of them. All of them. I was signed up with all of them. We don't need Greater Talent Network who's booking my lectures. We don't need nothing. We need to basically work for ourselves. This woman over here, G. Simone, said we need to work for ourselves. And so she started Front Page Entertainment and took KRS-One from Jive Records, started promoting KRS on her own. When that started happening, she linked up with smaller acts at the time. One of the smaller acts at the time was a guy named Fat Joe. There were two dudes out from Haiti called the Refugees. They had a record out called Boom Boff. Dude named Mad Lion. Another two dudes named Channel Live. A woman named Shelly Thunder, who was a huge reggae artist at the time, put a record out called Koof. Sometimes I'm on Koof. She was running with us. And I was producing Shabba Ranks, Ziggy Marley, Sly and Robbie, all at the same time, at that same time. So Front Page Entertainment came out with a bang. Boom! We came out. 1993, I run into a dude named DJ Premier. And I ran into him because he put out a record called Dwick. And before that, it was a record Just to Get a Rep. And I'm a DJ by heart. So I go and I buy my records. I used to buy vinyl. So I bought that Just to Get a Rep, do that shit on, Just to Get a Rep. Play it right now on a Guru. Go over there, I'm playing Just to Get a Rep. I'm like, this is hip hop. This is what we should be sounding like. This record. Now keep in mind, guess who the record is? Guru. Guru means teacher. I gravitated toward that. Hooked up with DJ Premier. I said, I want a whole album like Dwick and like Just to Get a Rap. So me and Premier went into the old D&D studios and came out with the masterpiece, Return of the Boom Bap. We straight wild out on that record. Straight wild on that record, okay? Let's just keep it real right now. Let's just keep it really real. If you notice the attitude of the record, notice me, I'm rhyming through a headset. That's old school. Where dudes was rhyming, if you couldn't afford a mic, the DJ headset was the mic. You plug the headset into the mic, and it had a certain sound to it. And we used to talk into the headset. You know what I'm saying? So I use this as talking into the headset with my rhymes. I'm holding my rhymes, talking into the headset. Basically, I'm saying I'm rhyming into DJ's ears. Is what I'm trying to say here. I'm rhyming into the headset as a traditional old school deal. But the image is that I'm rhyming into DJ ears. I am your headset. I'm yelling at you through your headset. That's the point. Look at the equipment in the back. Look at the amps. This is what speakers. This is what we on right here. Hip hop didn't see this in 93. In 93 for a rapper, first, look at Chris. Look at my hair. I'm unshaven. Ain't no haircut. That's my hairline, naturally as it is, okay? Look at jeans. Look at the jeans. Look at the sneakers. Okay? This was new to hip hop. Hip hop never saw a rapper that looked like them. All rappers used to dress up, have on stuff. Even us. We was famous for Dapper Dan suits with big goose bubble leathers. All of that, we had it all. But in 93, there was a call for original hip hop to return. I went to DJ Premier, who was a lowly DJ with a lowly group called Gangstar. We ran in the studio and produced this. And to this day, I will be doing this tonight. Tonight. Starts off KRS-One Attacks. Look at this. KRS-One Attacks. That's just the beginning. You may throw that on before I come out. Out of here. I'm doing that. Black Cop. That. I'm doing Sound of the Police. You know I'm doing that. Oh man, the P is free. Stop for Higher Level. I'm doing all this. And look, you see this thing, Higher Level? Double XL took this to be their little thing under, says Double XL, hip hop on a higher level. They got that from here. Elliot told me the day he did it. That's where they got it from. Same thing with the source. Music, culture, and politics. That's KRS. I put that there. A guy named John Schechter. I was in tears. I'm going back, but I was in tears. There's a new book out called The Big Payback, The Business of Hip Hop, or The Business of Rap. I think it's The Business of Hip Hop, called The Big Payback. In the book, the dude lays it out. This is a famous story that John Schechter tells of how KRS-One basically co-founded the Source magazine in that sense. But that music, culture, and politics, that's us. Hip hop on a higher level, that's us. And it's coming from this, you know? So when this comes out, there's a call for hip hoppers to return to jeans and sneakers and t-shirts. This was the first time we was going back to that. But this would not sell. This was another 300,000 albums. This was 300,000 albums. It's probably gold now because it never stopped selling. It maybe even platinum now. I should check and see. But when it came out, it only sold the same as Sex and Violence sold, meaning my diehard fans stayed with me. And I realized I have my own crew. Fuck everybody else. Learned that right here. When I started performing Black Cop, when I started performing Out of Here, and MCs Act Like They Don't Know, MCs Act Like They Don't Know would be another one, but it was produced by Premier. It's the album that comes after this, the KRS-One album. But when I started doing these songs, I noticed how people were so hungry. Not just, I like your music, Chris. Hungry. Like tonight. You know, dudes is hungry tonight. This ain't an average concert. If you in the KRS-One, here we go. Here we go. Right here. Okay? I respond to love. I don't just come in, you paying your money, and you gonna come to see me, and I'm gonna get on stage, hold my crotch, do 4 songs that you heard as a video, and that's a show. Get the fuck out of here with that. That shit, man, I get so aggravated, man. Okay? No, I'm in Victoria. Okay? Little Island. Canada. Okay? I've been trying to come here really since the beginning of my career. But there's a little history and a little story with this. That I've been trying to get here since I think it was 97 or 98. We were contracted to be here. The promoter sent his money in, had a full contract. 2 days before I'm to come here, teeth start hurting. I tried to fight it. I'm fighting it. It's just, mind over teeth. And it worked. A couple of days. I did 2 or 3 shows. I was on tour. 5th day, body was like, no, I run things here. Mouth swollen. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Out of any part of my body to be afflicted, why my mouth? I would have came here if I had a sore wrist, if I had a cold, if I had anything, I would have still came. My mouth. Go figure. Go figure. Call up the promoters. They pissed off. I'm like, damn, this shit is so embarrassing for me. I never missed a show ever. This is the only show I ever missed. These shows are the only shows I ever missed in my career. Ever. 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 I missed a lecture before, and I did miss one show in Cleveland. In that sense. Now I will put Cleveland on. No doubt, Cleveland, you do get that. Or actually Ohio, I'll just say that. I had a show there, a big show there, and I missed it because of weather. It was a huge rain and snowstorm. And the promoter understood. About 3 other acts got dissed as well. It was just weather. But no excuses. KRS-One still shows up. Rain, sleet, or snow. You call me, I'm going to be there. And Victoria called for me. And not only that, Victoria was paying top dollar for KRS to be here. And my teeth started bugging. So I'm there in Florida, which was just happened to be the date, one of the last dates I was doing. And I went to the dentist. He was like, dude, you can't rap. We putting stitches in your mouth. I'm like, stitches? They're like, yeah, you got like abscesses and shit. And you got a fucking... They was like, you're fucked up. And I'm like, God damn. So I go under the knife, and then I go to sleep. They pull out molars. They pull my molars out and 3 other teeth in the side. My whole shit's like this. I look like Kanye. Remember that picture of Kanye when he had his operation, his mouth? That shit was like, I was like whacked. And it was crazy because as a culture keeper, it hurt my heart. This is not about the money. This is about the show, my presence. Now you took
my card. No, just 1 second. I gotta see if this is gonna work.
Show your presence. On that tangent.
Let's see. Let's try it now.
Well, you're getting it here.
2.
Let me know when you on.
Yep.
So that really hurt my heart, and I will say that. And it did. Simone and I both, we're sitting there wondering, what the hell can we do? Like, so keep in mind now, it's not just this show. It's Vancouver. It's like, there's Seattle shows. There's Oregon. I had like 8 shows got canceled. Okay? Sure, contractually, I'm legal. I sent my doctor's note. It's what's called force majeure, with acts of God in the contract, like that. If there's a riot or this, I can skip out the contract legally. If I'm sick, I'm out the contract legally. So I did all that. I sent my doctor's note. I did all that, but none of that matters to me, really. What matters to me is the people that paid their money and I didn't show up. That's a problem for KRS-One. So the next year, 1999, I tried to do the show again. The promoters up here were very, very uncooperative. Very uncooperative. They saw that I was humble. I had deliberately humbled myself because I could have came on some superstar shit. Like, I'll give you an example, right? This show, for me, is worth $8,000. This show. I'm here for free today. Okay? Promoter don't pay me nothing. Nothing. This show and tomorrow's show is free. For me. Now, I say this to you, the fans should know that. They should know that. Now, of course, I'm giving the promoter a chance to get his money, no doubt, okay? No doubt, promoter gonna get his money. But you should know that the money you spent today don't go to me. I'm not getting no money today, okay? Today and tomorrow. These are makeup shows for me, okay? I came up here on my own. I'm spending my own money up here. I drove. I rented a vehicle to get up here. That's how bad I want to be here. Me and my wife drove. I was going to bring a whole crew, 15 people, tour buses and everything. I said, no. Let me come by myself. Humble. I want to show humility. I'm not here as no fucking superstar. I wronged a city. And I need to come and repent. And that's why I'm here. This show for me is repentance. I'm not here as a star. I don't feel that. I feel bad for the person that oh, you know what, Simone? We could honor the tickets. If anybody had their ticket from last time, we could honor the ticket. We didn't say that. But in terms of VIP, okay.
Okay, I got you.
I just thought about that. Anyway, the thing is there's some fans that may have saved their ticket. Do you know what it is to save your ticket?
Yes, I do. Since Hoodstock 98.
Since Hoodstock 98!
When I met Quadro Cinco from Ghetto Concept, and I did an interview with him in August, and he signed the ticket.
See, I pay attention to that. You're a human being. Do you know how valuable you are? Just as a human being with a mind. I don't know why artists don't understand that. They want 1 million people, or they don't move, or they don't feel, I don't know, whatever they're supposed to feel. Me, this little bit right here is enough for me right here. You don't see me with no security. I'm not afraid. I'm not walking around thinking somebody going, not only can I defend myself, but I'm walking in a city that loves me. Do you know what it means to walk in a city and the whole city goes, we love you? What do you need security for? What do you need anything for? So, 1999, these promoters up here were acting like assholes, straight up. I'm trying to tell them, listen, you owe me 8 G's for this show right here, okay? Which is a steal for KRS-One too, by the way. I usually charge double that for a venue like this. I said, let me come for 8 because I'm doing several gigs. They sent a portion of the deposit to me, and that's the money I got. Not even half. It may have been half, but they sent a portion of the cash. When I didn't show up, I said, you know what? That's my fee. Whatever you guys send me is all I'm going to take. But I will get there on my own. What I asked of them, I said, what I need is transportation and hotels. Can you pay for my transportation and can you pay for my hotels? I said, I'll come up and rock for free. Can you pay for the trans? I'm out of pocket on the transportation and a place to live that night. Can you do? They said no. So we waited 2 more years. Mind you, my attorney is on it. You know what I'm saying? We have documentation for every word coming out of my mouth. Okay, times, dates, email transmissions, everything, okay? 2 years go by. When am I coming up there? Now I'm starting to get hostile because I see these promoters want to use KRS. They don't give a fuck about the fans. Could care less, okay? Especially Vancouver. Sean Lala.
Boom.
Okay? Especially him. And I'm saying it live where you can hear me. The reason KRS-One is not or did not come to Vancouver is because of Sean Lala, not me. I've been trying to get here for years. Anybody who know KRS-One, you know what I'm about. You know I would never jerk a city like this. Come up to it, take your money, and not show up. Come on, man. We got principles, culture. I got people that will check me on shit like that. These people find out I'm taking money and not showing up. What? You get beat down for shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't play them games. But Sean Lala trashed my name all up and down West Coast. Which is another reason why I'm here, to restore my name and my honor. So, as we go through the years, I'm getting calls. Yo, Chris, somebody booked you up here. Booked me? I ain't booked up there. We gave them money for you. You better go get your money back. I'm getting flyers. KRS gonna be in Toronto. KRS gonna be in Calgary. KRS gonna, well, maybe not Calgary. KRS gonna be in all these different places. And I'm not gonna be there. And so after a while, Simone and I are looking at this like, wait a minute, Canada's becoming a little disorganized. Like, it's becoming a little disorganized. I need to just get up there, whether I spend my own money or not. I need to just get up there to restore my own honor and the people's honor. So I linked up with a group called PDP Entertainment, who heard my cry. And believe, I've been crying for a minute. I called other promoters in Canada. They didn't want to do it.
Product and Danny.
No, they did it.
Yeah, they did it, right.
Right. Mm-hmm. No, I called other promoters. You should know this. The people of Canada should know this. That I called. I said, I will come for free and do these gigs. Free. Just give me a place to stay and get me there. They said, no, just come. I said, okay, no problem. I see what you about. So I said, no problem. What I could do is charge you my full 8 G's to be here tonight, here. Full 8 G's, because I'm here. I'm in total legal rights. Total. I said, nah. What you gave me is what it is. 3 G's, 35, whatever it was. That's it. And you gave me that 8 years ago, 7 years ago, or more. I was supposed to be here in 98, right? 2008 is 10 years. 11 is 12. 14. This show is 14 years. Wow. 14 years. Okay. I'm crying, calling promoters, telling them, please, make a way for KRS to come up here. I'm on Rock the Bells. Did Toronto. I went to Eastern Canada. I did Nova Scotia. I did Montreal, Ottawa. All of that. Western Canada. Please, bring me up. Sean Lala can't figure it out. Can't figure it out. Every time I call, he got a problem. Finally, I put all that aside. I call these dudes PDP, dudes Product and Danny. They heard my cry. I said, listen, call these guys up for me as agents and just make any deal that is in their favor. So I'm here now. I'm here. And I'm here not to receive money. I'm here to rock for the people, straight up. I don't get paid tonight at all. I got some DVDs. If you want to buy a DVD, it's about the only money I'm getting. And I don't even have much of those. This is my own personal, deal I got. I know cats gonna want to see. This DVD is off the meat rack, though, by the way. You need to get it anyway. But I'm just saying, only cash exchange that'll be going on with me is whatever I'm a DVD, maybe VIP. If Simone wants to make the VIP, we usually do a $20 VIP. You get a pass. You come back here with me. After the show, we hang out. Pictures and shit and all that type of stuff. And I give that to the fans as well. $20 on that. I'm gonna jump off the stage and mingle with everybody in the audience. I'm gonna blow their fucking minds out there. Everybody on stage, in that sense. And then after I blaze them, I'm gonna come back here. $20 people who just want to give up $20. Come on back here. I appreciate it. Take your photo with KRS. Get your autograph going. Give me your music. Let me get back in touch with you. Form that relationship with me right now. And we will be following up, no doubt, because what I'm waiting for is for the people to bring me back. I don't know if I want to do this club again. I appreciate the club. The club is dope. This 919 shit is hot. The engineers is hot. They doing their thing. They don't have nothing to do with this. You know what I'm saying? But the promoters, and not this promoter, Degree was dope. He did his thing. He did his thing. I can't front on him at all. He wasn't arrogant. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't arrogant, and that's why I hope he DJs for me as well tonight. I hope he actually does. But he's actually one of the promoters who know the whole story too. You know, he know I've been trying to get here, man. I keep trying, but these promoters don't care about the people, and that's the point I'm trying to emphasize here as well. I think we need to stop that. I think, you know, because and I say this respectfully of Vancouver, not Victoria, Vancouver. Okay, I say this respectfully. The only way you really can bring KRS-One to a city is if the people bring them. You know what I'm saying? And if you a promoter, be with the people. Be with the people. You know what I'm saying? Be with the people, because overcharging ticket prices even, you know, like I think it's like, I don't know what it is tonight, you know? 30, 25, 30, that's reasonable. That's reasonable. 25 to 30 is reasonable. I would even say 25.
Nearly sold out.
You know, no, come on. I mean, the love of the city.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But you start charging people. I mean, I looked at some of these. We were discussing it with PDP. So some of these tickets are $40. Fuck that. $40. What the fuck? Get the fuck out of here with that. $100 ticket, $50 ticket. Nah, man, you forgot what we doing this for. These are working people who are coming out at night to have a good time. You may save somebody's life tonight. They come in tonight thinking they're going to take 2 drinks and blow their brains out in the car. But they come get 2 drinks and hear my philosophy and change their mind. You know what I'm saying? So, just on to end that note on that, today and tomorrow's show is a makeup show, and I'm proud of it. I'm proud of that. Me personally, I know, me and God knows that I'm here for the people. That my heart is pumping for them only. That's it. When I do Vancouver tomorrow, I mean, Victoria gonna get their ass kicked tonight. They just gonna get beaten. Okay, I'm just beating them. There's just no. Wait, what? Yo, I can't wait for 11 o'clock. Okay, they're going to get it. Vancouver, same thing. Okay, same thing with Vancouver. Okay, they going to get it. But I don't want to come back with the same promoters. I don't want to come back with the same promoters. I want to come back on some other shit. Somebody else brings me through, you know, and do me right. Do me right. You know what I'm saying? Do me right. Wrap it up now. Wrap it up. Period on that. Come on, hit me with a few more questions. We'll bring it to
all right. And within all was going on, what was the process that you took in finding your purpose and mission?
You know, there wasn't a process with my purpose and mission. It came in a flash when I was 12 years old. It was a flash. It was. It was during the 1977 blackout in New York. New York City had a blackout. All the lights went out in New York. And everybody started robbing and looting and doing stuff with, you know, just robbing stores and stuff, looting. And at 12 years old, I was traumatized by that. Seeing people breaking into stuff and robbing stuff. I was caught up like, wow, look at Miss Johnson down the block. Miss Johnson, like, you know, upstanding church woman, Christian, you know, the woman who tells you, don't stand in front of my yard, running down the street with a TV. I'm like, wow, Miss Johnson. And so at 12, I'm like, okay. I had a flash of me speaking. I went to bed that night, and it was like, it wasn't a dream. It was just, it was a flash. It's like I saw myself speaking to an endless sea of people. And I wasn't rapping. I was talking to them. But every time I spoke, a section of this crowd would light up. And this is all I remember at 12. It would light up. So I'd be speaking. I'd just be talking. Every time I spoke, a portion of the audience would light up like that. And at 12, I didn't know what that meant. I was just like, wow, I want to be there. This is what it is. And when I, you know, I guess came conscious, like, you know, woke up the next day, I had this drive to be an MC and a philosopher first. I woke up one day, actually it happened twice. Right after the blackout, I woke up and I told my mother, I said, I'm going to be an MC. And she said, what is a MC? Like, what do you mean MC? And rap was only, MCing was only in the parks. So I was like, I'm going to be that dude right there. There was no TV for it. There was no nothing. It was nothing. It was just dudes doing it in the park, and I wanted to be that dude. I said, I'm going to do that my whole life, what that dude is doing in the park. And it was a joke. It was like a 12-year-old saying, I'm going to go to the moon, or I'm going to be president. It's exactly that. I mean, no exaggeration. Imagine your 12-year-old kid come up to you and says, yo, Mom, I'm going to be president. Dad, I'm going to be president. And he says it to you just like this. I'm going to be president. Just like that. That's how I spoke to my mother. I said, I said, Mom, I'm going to be an MC. I'm going to be an MC. Just like that. And she was like, what do you mean MC? I said, you know, Mom, I said, I'm a jam on the mic. It's like, I'm a jam on the mic. And she was like, yeah, whatever. Just like that. It's like, well, yeah, whatever. You know, do whatever you're going to do. And that was it. And a few years later, I realized just more and more in me, I realized I could naturally read Hebrew too, by the way, which was interesting to me. Like, Hebrew came easy to me. I was able to read the letters. Once I knew what it was, I was able to read it. I was like, wow. And then these other books that were hard for people to read. College books. My mother was in college. She herself was a philosopher, metaphysician. She had all the books. I'd read them all. When Dianetics first came out, my mother came home with it. I read it all. When Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes reprinted a new edition in the 70s, I had it, read it all. Imagine you 12 and 13-year-old reading Science of Mind, Aristotle, Socrates, Rene Descartes, Francis Bacon. These are my heroes growing up. These are the dudes I'm like, I'm going to be like them. I'm going to be like that. I'm like 12, 13, 14. So as the time goes on, when I hit about 16, I take two books with me, the Essene Gospel of Jesus the Christ and the Aquarian Gospel of Jesus the Christ. Those two books and a change of pants. And I left home for good. And I lived on the streets of New York because I realized that the only way to really see God is to see God. And I was so crazy with God. I was like insane with the spiritual world. I still am. And insane with it. And I just left home. I wasn't abused. My mother, well, she did throw us out a few times of the house, but this one time I left on my own. No doubt. I left to pursue God in particular. And to do that, you have to give yourself a near-death experience. Either you get it by accident or you give it to yourself. And I kind of did it both ways. Because I didn't know what I was doing, but I wanted to pursue God. So I just went in the street and I said, whatever comes of me comes. This is a 16-year-old mind. Whatever comes of me comes. And so here I am in the street, and every night guns are going off. I see people getting robbed, prostitution everywhere, crooked cops. Street, trying to fend for myself, stay out of everybody's way, smile, say hi, keep it moving. And I was like that for from 16 to easy 18. Easy like that. Then from 18 to 21, I'm off and on in the streets. Just group home, out of the group home, sleeping in Central Park in Manhattan. I go to a mission. I leave the mission. I'm on the E train, sleeping on the E train. I'm sleeping in the World Trade Center. The World Trade Center had a nice sleep spot. I used to sleep there. All the trains, rode the trains. Even as a graffiti writer, I wrote graffiti and slept on the trains. Even when I had South Bronx and Bridges Over, I was still homeless. So when South Bronx and Bridges Over was out, I was sleeping on the train. and South Bronx was out. And I would be sitting there like this. I'd be sitting there at the edge of the train like this, just sitting there like this. And people would have a boom box out. And they'd be blasting South Bronx. Yo, you hear this new shit? Yo, listen to this new. And I'd be sitting right there. Because then there was no video, no magazine, cause nothing. You put out a record, no one knew who you was. So I'd be sitting right there, record, South Bronx. Many people tell me this style. And I'm like this. I can't smile. I can't frown. I have to be completely like just like this because I don't want no one to know or see or even think this is me. The guy you think is large and all of this, he's right next to you, homeless, sitting on a bench, riding the train back and forth, no money, no nothing. Sometimes I went to sleep, I woke up, and it'd be like $10 in my lap. Somebody threw me some money. I was that fucking bummy, you know, and obviously I'm stinking, and, you know, it's just, and I'm in the train, but I got South Bronx out. And my social worker, my DJ, Scott LaRock, he's my social worker. Scott LaRock was never my DJ. Scott LaRock was my social worker who became the DJ for Boogie Down Productions. But he was a social worker, and he was the guy I used to go to get either welfare checks or tokens, this kind of, but to get on the train and all of that. So I'm homeless, you know what I'm saying? I'm in the hood for real. Like, you know, these dudes talk about the hood. I don't know what hood they talking about, but the hood I'm from, like, you know, my face cheek was on the curb. There was no, you know, I don't even know how to explain it to you. There's no, you know, I'm not from the street. I'm from the actual street, you know, the curb. You know, I slept on the floor, you know, on the outside, the concrete, you know, like that. So I mention all of this to say that Scott LaRock was the social worker that saw my talent. And he had a bunch of rappers around him because he was a hot DJ. And he had a bunch of people who always wanted to get on. But he took a liking to me because I was a philosopher. And he used to love to hear me talk about philosophy. That was Scott LaRock. And I used to break him because what I was studying, nobody knew. You know, it wasn't the average philosophy class. You know, I was on some other shit. You know, ley lines and, you know, did you know that the earth was once? And I'm telling cats when, you know, Antarctica was lush green land. I'm like, you know, do you know about this? And then in 85 looking at me like, you bugging, man. Like, why do you know, and I'm rhyming like this too, you know. So all of a sudden, Scott LaRock goes to this guy named Mr. Magic. And Mr. Magic disses him. Says, this is bullshit, Boogie Down Productions, whatever. And rest in peace, Mr. Magic, the greatest DJ of all time, radio DJ of all time, Mr. Magic. This guy dissed Scott LaRock. Scott came back and told me, man, you know, he ain't getting no deal with the Juice Crew. He just dissed. I dissed? Juice Crew? Yo, watch this. I wrote this song called The Bridge Is Over first. Then I said, nobody's into reggae right now. Nobody's really going to understand what I'm doing. Threw that to the side. Then I wrote this song called South Bronx. And I wrote South Bronx because I said, I'm a teacher. I'm only coming into hip hop as a teacher. That's it. That's the reason I left home. That's the reason I'm here. That's the whole point. Philosopher, MC. That's it. So Scott LaRock gave me my chance. He spent $50 on me and told me I had one shot. One shot. And it was $50 for a $25 session. 2 sessions, 2 hours, $25 an hour, $50. We only could afford 2 hours. He paid out of his paycheck. I went in there and said, Scott, I will not let you down. I remember telling him that to his face because it was his paycheck. And he had his daughter and his wife and the rent was due. And he couldn't afford it. He couldn't afford it. But he believed. He believed. And he said, you know what? I like this record, South Bronx. And remember, it wasn't South Bronx. It was me doing the rhymes. I would just tell it to him. I say, way back in the days when hip hop began, with Coke La Rock, Cool Herc, and then Scott used to just bump me, oh shit, yo, you're gonna kill it. So he took his last, and we went in the studio only for 2 hours, is all we had, to lay the record down and mix in everything. So everything was one take. I went in, they laid the beat down one time. And it's not even mixed. If you go, for those that really want to do their homework, for the hip hop scholars, listen to the instrumental of South Bronx. You'll hear talking under it through the whole record. Talk like through the whole song, right? Yeah. Huh? No. Yeah. It's actually the yellow one, the Criminal Minded Hot Club version. I put out an instrumental album of Criminal Minded, which was Prophecy too, by the way. I saw another vision.
Vinyl, right?
Right. I saw a vision. I ain't even gonna get into that. But Scott spent his last. I said, Scott, I will not let you down. That's the last thing I said. I said, Scott, I will not let you down. He put that 50 down. Nice. One take, whew, beat went down. Said G. Hooked us up, Ultramagnetic MCs. Hooked us up with the beat. Said G. Said G. Between him and Scott La Rock, somehow South Bronx got made. Beat went down one time. I jumped on the mic. One take. One time. What you hear on South Bronx is one take. Wow. One take. No edits. Nothing. One take. The chorus was another take. And we did that one time. If you listen to the chorus, each chorus is different. That's right. There's no flying of the choruses. For the producers out there, we fly all choruses today. Back then, we had to do it one time. One time, you got one time and you better catch it. And we start. And if you notice, it comes on South. We say, South Bronx, the South, and it's off. It's not, you know. Now here's the clincher where Scott went overboard. We did this one take. The record was done in an hour. But Scott had this guitar dude come in. And this guitar dude played the part. At the end of the record, you'll hear some sloppy guitar playing. He one take. Then, like an hour and a half into the session, the record's done. Last half hour, it's me, Scott, and D Nice sitting there mixing the record because there's no automation, there's no nothing. Everybody had a cue. You throw on the chorus, you do this, you do that. So we all had a cue, and we all put the record. So the record went right down to a cassette.
What? Mm-hmm. What?
The record went to a 4-track cassette. That was the master recording. And we took the 4-track cassette and we took it to a place called Dick Charles. And he made what is called an acetate. And Scott took 2 of those. We had to wait 1 week for him to get his check again. We took the record, when he had his acetate made, he took the record to Red Alert. And the story was over. Red played it. Records blazing. All over New York. People are bugging. South Bronx. I'm sleeping in Central Park. I'm at the World Trade Center like this, hearing dudes say my shit, going down the escalator. Yeah, that's South Bronx shit. I'm sitting there with a bunch of homeless people like this. Because we have a section. They let us stay in this section. I'm like this. Chilling. And so MC Shan answers us with a record called South Bronx Kill At Noise. And MC Shan, after he answers us, I put out the first record I wrote, which was The Bridge Is Over. And that was it. After that, people started saying that we was only good for battles and we weren't a real group. And it was Scott LaRock who actually told me to stop battling because he was caught up in my philosophy. Like, he liked my philosophy, my view. And so he said, you should rhyme about what you study. And me, I like the battle. You know, I like the battle because I know my divinity. So when I was young, I would use it against people, which I don't do anymore. I learned, I grew up from that. But when I was young, I knew God. God. When I went through my street experience, God came to me and started talking. Just straight up started talking. Like, this is what's going to be. This is what's going to happen. This is what you're going to do. Now go fucking do it. And just like that, go fucking do it. That's how God speaks. Just like that, go fucking do it. Like, why are you still sitting here? Go do it. And it's not a voice, it's a feeling. It's an urge. God speaks through urges. You know, and it's urging you. You moving, you know, like that. And I met it when I was in the street, homeless with nothing to eat. I would talk to an invisible force and somebody would feed me. I would talk to this invisible force and I ran into Scott LaRock. I talked to an invisible force and my career started. I had nothing. Nobody put me on, nothing. All I had was God. I don't have the luxury of being atheist. I love the atheist philosophy, though. I got dope atheist books. I think atheism is the dope. That shit is hot. I think more Christians should be atheists. They would see God clearer. You know, atheism is one of the greatest philosophies on earth, to deny God and have God show up. That's what, like, to say, oh, I believe in God, that's easy. You know, deny that God even exists. And if God chooses you, he is on. You it's like your head really, then you really know. Because you like, I don't even believe in this bullshit, God and all this shit. But let me tell you something. I had cancer. I did not say it, but I was like, oh. No, the person would say, I had cancer. I put my hand on the Bible, went to the doctor, and I was cured. What do you tell that person? They lying? They are crazy? They're, you know, I couldn't see. Some dude came along, rubbed my eyes, now I could see. What do you say to that? People don't experience God. That's why they don't know her. Simple and plain. They yelling at God, but they're not coming to God's house, which is here. Me, when I had nothing but me and God, that's it. There was me, the street, and God. The street don't speak. So God, I followed every instruction that I heard, every letter, every instruction I heard, and it's not even heard. It wasn't even me. It's like I'm a puppet, and I feel my arm going up, so I give it no resistance. I feel my leg going up, so I give it no resistance. I see this is, oh God, this is how you want me. This is how you want me to move, like this. And then after a while, I clip the strings and I just start moving like that. Just after, this is how it started. But after I learned this, I was like, okay, good. Now I know how the puppet's supposed to move. And I just start moving naturally like the puppet. Now I know what the dance is. God showed me the dance, the ghost dance the Native Americans have. They do a dance. They got, every tribe got their dance and shit. And God showed me the dance of hip hop. That's what I was taught. There's a dance. There's a way you carry yourself. And I was shown that. And I thank God. I said, thank you, Mother, thank you. And with that knowledge, I imagine I come out the subway, okay, and I walk up on the street. God is with me. Dude comes up. Y'all want to battle? You think you hot, right? Yeah, I heard of you. You a graffiti writer, right? You that graffiti writer KRS? Yeah, what's up, dog? Right, let's get it in right now. I got heaven on me. I'm like, nah, dude, I just leave me alone right now. You don't want this. Not what? Yo, what? Okay, here it go. Now, you hear the ferocious. How many dudes did I destroy their careers? Not battle and you win, I win, we come back. No, everybody I battle, they're gone. There's no more career for them. There's no more, because it's not me battling. The universe has a mission that it's using this body to have. You get in the way of this body and you're getting dissed. It's not me. I would protect you. I'd run. I'd get away from you. Like, what? No, everybody who stood up and said, KRS ain't shit, or your mission ain't shit, or da-da-da-da-da, it wasn't me. It was the universe. Next week, dude's in jail. Next week, dude dead. Next week, dude had to go to another country. Next week, dude is fired from the job. Next week, what rappers and hip hop sees is my battles. So there's MC Shan, legendary battle in hip hop. I had heaven on me. Like, imagine, and to this day, MC Shan started my career. To this day, you cannot say KRS-One without saying MC Shan. There'd be no Stop the Violence movement. There'd be no nothing. There'd be no Criminal Minded. There'd be nothing without MC Shan. MC Shan gave me my chance. He didn't have to battle me at all. This dude was already large. But because he was hip hop, he gave me a chance. He said, come on, battle. But what he gave a chance was the universe itself. And so I came in. And I really went after the whole crew. Because I never battle one at a time. That's too easy. Where's your whole crew? Bring your whole squad. I'll take the whole squad out. Lyrically, words. In the beginning was the word. And the word was with who? Don't fuck with me right now. Y'all want it? Bring it. And that's how I'm rolling. No arrogance, no nothing. Just, I'm rolling with that. Peace, love, unity, joy. Go against those principles, KRS pulls out. Few cats went against the principles. Oh, fuck you. Oh, you're white. Oh, you soft. Oh, you that. No problem. No problem. You want to battle? Let's battle. I ain't got to tell you all the battles. MC Sham, come on, everybody. Melly Mel, D.M. Dawn, the Poet, and all these people, one after another, up to Nelly. One after another. You see the situation. You see what it is. And Nelly, a good friend today. Today, total ally to the Temple of Hiphop, Stop the Violence movement. Nelly lays out his total support for the Temple of Hiphop. And not just words, he actually came to the table. That's peace. That's love. That's unity. Simone.
Okay. And the largest crowd and the biggest tour you've ever rocked.
Rock the Bells would be the largest crowd and the biggest tour. The Dope Jam tour was big too. That was huge. But what Rock the Bells offers, I would call it the biggest tour. It's kind of fizzling out now. But the first two or three, the first four Rock the Bells, I think that was classic hip hop. I mean, somebody should do the Rock the Bells DVD. Somebody should do that. I mean, the acts that they had on that bill, I mean, it was just ridiculous. That's the only time I think a $100 ticket price was justified. That's the only time it was justified. Rock the Bells was one of the most great. That was one of the greatest hip hop tours ever to go out in hip hop. I would even say it tops Fresh Fest and all of that, because that was only one group. That was like one group of people. Rock the Bells presented hip hop, like straight up. Yeah. Tonight is my biggest show.
Yeah.
Tonight is my biggest concert. I'm not saying that cliche. Let's reevaluate the word biggest. Biggest. The biggest show is the one you get the most love on. That's the biggest show. There could be 10 people in the audience. If that love is hot, that's your biggest show. I would rather do a concert for 100 of the right people, 100 right people, than a million wrong. I don't give a fuck how many people are here. If the right 400 or however many people this place holds is here, that's my biggest show. That's my biggest day. I could do a Coliseum, sure, and we do them. Those are small shows to me. 20,000 people, that's small. Rock the Bells was small. It's easy. You go on stage, you do your shit, you leave. Crowd's giving it to you. Nah, here tonight, I could touch people. You know what I'm saying? I touch you tonight. This is real. So come on, hit me with that last one.
And the best hip hop memory you've been part of or contributed to?
The birth of my children. That is the greatest hip hop moment in my life. Goodbye, sir.
Thank you. You got any shouts?
Oh yeah. Shout out to the whole Victoria. You already know. So let me give it to you like this. Shout out to the whole Victoria. I'm on to you. Freestyle lyric, and I'm warning you. My man's right here holding the camera on me. You seeing a real MC holding DVDs. Right here, I got my man. He's called the Rushton. I don't even know him, but I love him. It's called hip hop. Return to the boom bap. This is the difference between MCing and rap. Peace. I'm out of here. And this is me.